Yesterday, Winnie Odinga sat down for an explosive interview with Yvonne Okwara of Citizen TV, and as such, in this video I want us to look into what was said, and so with no further ado, let's get after it. Number one, it was just last week when I said Oketch Salah probably isn't Raila's adopted son. I even went a step further requesting Oketch to release a photograph of himself with Raila when he was around the age of 20 years old, because you don't get adopted when you're above 35, you're no longer a youth. You can't be adopted as a non-youth. And guess what? Winnie is also saying that Salah ought to be taken to the DCI, followed immediately by Mathare, because he doesn't know who this fellow is and how on earth he's adopted. Just listen into this.
I want to ask about another gentleman whom we saw emerging, I think, in towards the end. There's a gentleman that calls himself Oketch Salah. We've seen video clips of him. He says he was close to your father until the end. He claims he funded some trips, and he has some things to say about the party, but most of all about Raila Odinga. He calls himself Raila Odinga's adopted son. Winnie, do you know Oketch Salah?
I've met him, but I'd like to believe nobody really knows him. I also feel sad for him. You know, my father died, and that was a very traumatic experience for me. But at least he died with somebody he knew loved him. And I believe people need to take better care of their loved ones. And mental health is a really important thing. When you live here and you go on Thika Road, there are two options. You either turn right as you're going to Mathare, or you turn left and you're going to DCI. Because a flat-out lie that you were there at the time of my father's death and you were not, talking things that did not occur, is quite dangerous. It makes me question a lot of things. What would be those intentions? So I believe they're just two places that should be rushed with immediate effect.
So again, according to Winnie Odinga, Oketch Salah needs to be taken to the DCI, followed immediately by a visit to Mathare, because how can one claim to be Raila's adopted son when there's no photograph to corroborate the story? These things are so easy to dispel. If you were adopted in your teens, in your infancy and so on, you just produce the image. This is Raila when he was 60, this is me when I was 21 in university. And we say, okay. Unless this adoption is a figure of speech, the same way you can be employed somewhere and there's someone who's significantly older than you, and you have a kind of father-son relationship, but it's not really official. It's not something that the family recognizes. I believe that's the situation Oketch Salah is in. I wish he'd have been open about it so that he could avoid things like Winnie Odinga having to embarrass him on national TV. Now here's the shocker. Oketch Salah is still doubling down on his lie. Just check out this tweet, and I quote, "I watched last night's interview on Citizen TV with Yvonne Okwara where Winnie spoke about me. Because of the respect I have for her Excellency the Ambassador, Mama Ida Min Pini from Migori, I chose to remain quiet. That was a deliberate decision. However, some things need clarity. I stand by everything I said about my last moments with Baba. Those moments were real, painful, and livid. I'll respond in an interview soon." And he went on to attach this photograph of himself kneeling next to Raila Odinga. We'll be looking forward to that interview of Oketch. And preferably, I hope he does it with Yvonne, because she has the facts, having already sat down with Winnie Odinga. Number two, Winnie reminded people that Raila's final message at Agile Hotel was that no one should commit the party to resolutions which have yet to be passed. And this includes the support of William Ruto. Those are things which were never passed, they were never deliberated. Ni wakora tu na wajanja ambao wanakimbia na hiyo narrative. Just listen into this.
So tell us about this. Baba did not say he left us in government. What did you mean by that?
Well, he didn't. I believe if he did, you'd play that clip as well. The last thing he mentioned, which was during an ODM PG at Argyle Hotel, and people were asking about that matter, he said, "Who told you ODM will not field a candidate in 2027? So those that are now saying that in secret he told them, who told them? Because everything he said, he used to say to all of us in front of us. He was not a duplicitous leader. He did not say something in the morning and go and try something else at night. So when I raised those statements, it was out of the concern that certain people or certain quarters are trying to achieve something which doesn't necessarily stand for the creed of the ODM party.
And in case you're wondering what Winnie is referring to, here's the reminder.
You have not passed any resolution as a party to say how we're going to go into the election of 2027. So wherever you are, don't commit the party to some things which have not been discussed. Let those things be discussed first. We are ODM. Who's told you that ODM will not have a candidate in 2027? Who has told you? So first, think as ODM. We have a clear plan that we have negotiated and we have agreed on, and let us continue to implement that plan. Other decisions we'll take when the time comes.
So Raila, Winnie Odinga, and Edwin Sifuna are all speaking the same language. It's only the brokers on the other side like Junet and Wanga who are in a big rush to support Kasongo. Shame on them. Number 3, speaking of Wanga, Winnie was asked about her thoughts and sentiments of the said Gladys Wanga. What does she feel about the leader? How is she performing her duties? And Winnie basically responded by saying that Wanga is in her own world, though she said it in a very polite manner. Just listen into this.
How about Gladys Wanga, who's the chair of the party as well? Many have spoken about, the direction of the party. What's your relationship with the party chair?
She's the governor of Homa Bay, a position that I believe is momentous, especially in that region, electing women to higher office. I believe she believes she's correct, and I believe she's doing what she believes is correct for the party.
The take-home statement right there is, I believe she believes she's correct. Now that's the exact definition of a narcissist. Someone who believes they are correct regardless of the facts. So she just called Wanga a narcissist in a way that it probably flew over Wanga's head, but that's what happens when you're dealing with Winnie, a pretty smart cookie, if you ask me. But on the flip side, I also understand Wanga. I totally get what Wanga is angling towards. You see, her obsession with two-term and the broad-based government is based on this statement alone from Kasongo. Roll the tape.
Cecily Mbarire is the chair of UDA, not by default. It is deliberate and it is intentional. And one of the assignments she has is that we must, as a party, lead from the front, and we must make it in the rules, Madam Cecily Mbarire, that when Rigiji and myself tukifika hapo mbele na tumepangana, tumekubaliana vile itaenda, we must also agree that going forward, if a man is a candidate for president in our party, the woman must be the runner.
So Wanga still believes Ruto will go to the ballot with a female deputy. And if you do the math, in all honesty, if it had to be a lady, the only lady William Ruto can go to the ballot with, as at now, is Gladys Wanga. Waiguru is not so lucrative. Reason being, she's from the same region as Kindiki. You cannot impeach Gachagua, get rid of Kindiki, pick Waiguru, and still expect the people to vote for you. You're making it only worse. So if it is Waiguru, he'd better go with Kindiki anyway. Wanga is the only female option that the president can go for if it has to be a lady. But my personal take is, we are not ready for a Suluhu 2.0. Ruto asikuje kutuleta hizo sarakasi zake na kina Faruk na Murkomen. We have seen how Tanzania is being ran. It is the worst country in East and Central Africa. Why? Because Suluhu is in her feelings. Boniface Mwangi anaenda pale kusikiza hearing, anashikwa na anajisiwa. We have yet to see that in this country except in Mombasa, where this blogger called Bruce alinajisiwa and it was recorded. And that was just a local goon who is known. But this one is a head of state sanctioning those things. According to Boniface Mwangi, they were using even crockery. So if Ruto takes us that direction, I think he's dangerous. Even as we speak, he's very dangerous. And we need a change of guard immediately. That is the one thing I even expected Winnie Odinga to say. So I would even give that entire interview a 5 out of 10. The lack of commitment to one term or two term is sickening. People need to get off the fence. Watu kama Winnie Odinga, tujue wako pande gani kwa hii mambo ya Ruto. Didi Nyoro is also, time yake kidogo inaisha. He has to tell people he's in two term or one term. The clever jargon about economics and what's being stolen is great, but it won't last for too long. But either way, guys, that's just my take on the matter. Do drop me your comments in the section below and I'll do best to read them and to give you a response. And with that, here are today's ads of the day. If you're in need of office partitioning or home interior works, i.e. kitchen cabinets, modern media walls, wall decoration, wainscoting, wardrobes, tiles, bathrooms, window blinds, gypsum and so on, reach out to Suima's Interiors at 07170 443 or info@suimas.co.ke and they'll get all your needs sorted out. Whatever it may be, all interior works, these guys are the best at it. If you're in need of electrical wiring, solar installation, or electrical fittings such as strip lights, snake lights, downlighters, or chandeliers, contact Engineer Wycliffe at 0707 476602 and he'll get your house dapped up. Now, if you're here for the first time, please go on and hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching for a different platform, just head on over to YouTube, search for David Wafula, hit the subscribe button. You're going to be getting a ton of content of this nature. If politics is something you're passionate about, this is definitely the one channel that you really need to subscribe to. All right, guys, adios. Thank you for choosing David Wafula as your primary news platform. We put countless hours in research, recording, and editing. By showing up each and every day to watch our videos, you encourage us to generate more videos for the viewers. We are on a mission to inform, educate, and build a better tomorrow. To our thousands of followers in a world full of presidents, kings, and queens, you are the real gem. Adios.